Welcome. Hello. It's the Buy Canadian Super Hour, and we're going to have a bit of fun here today, talking about Canadian brands, buying Canadian products, and doing a bunch of other fun stuff, including our classic Canadian or Not game, where we'll continue to be looking at Canadian technical inventions, science and technology theme today. We're also going to be doing a spotlight on the Canadian band Trooper. Trooper is going to be in the spotlight today, and we're going to be selling some albums. As well, we're going to do a little deep dive on the Canadian game Crokinole. Unfortunately, we don't have a guest today. Our guest was unable to attend due to a unexpected funeral they had to go to. So we're looking forward to welcoming Joel from Purely Natural in a future episode, probably next week. But we'll fill the time. We're going to have some fun here. I want you guys to ask me a bunch of questions. I'm happy to talk to you. You guys can be the guest today. We're welcoming chats from the audience, and we'll have some fun. We'll keep it casual. As well, I wanted to let you know that you can shop during this broadcast. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on any of the social platforms, come on down to buycanadian.tv. That's where you can get that full real-time experience, chat with us, vote on screen, participate in our giveaways, and also shop without leaving the broadcast. So we actually, in the chat room, in the player on buycanadian.tv, you can see some of the products we're featuring in the show. Of course, you can be purchasing products from the Buy Canadian online department store anytime. For those of you who don't know what it is we're doing here, the Buy Canadian group has created the first all-Canadian online department store. We're basically gathering products from brands from all across Canada, curating their Canadianness for you, and providing a central place where you can go shop and confidently know you're buying Canadian goods, supporting Canadian brands, and of course, supporting the Canadian economy, which is super crucial at this moment in world trade history. Awesome. So I think we should start with the giveaway. I think last week we had a wonderful guest, Lex from Lex's Pantry, joined us, and we're going to be giving away another Canadian spice sample pack. So I'll show you what we're giving away, and then I'll activate the giveaway, and then we'll do a draw later in the show. We just love the spice here. I'm going to bring up, that's Pluck Tea. That's also a wonderful purchase. There's a beautiful Canadian content sample bundle from Pluck, which we've previously opened on the show. We hosted Jennifer here as an interview guest. I drank some tea. It was really good. So I highly recommend purchasing that. When anyone does make a purchase here on the Buy Canadian Super Hour, we play this sound. And it sounds so good. So I hope you'll consider making a purchase today. It supports Canadian brands. It supports Canadian economy. And hey, it's fun to buy on a live shopping show. So let's go to the product we're actually going to be giving away today. It's the Canadian flavor sample pack from Lex's Pantry. I'm going to feature that up here so you guys can see what it is you could win. You can just buy it. That guarantees you win. Everything you buy on Buy Canadian Group is a win for sure. Okay, but let's start the giveaway. I'm just going to activate this thing. So what you want to do is put your name and email in there, and then later in the show, we'll be doing a draw. And someone will be the lucky winner of the Canadian flavors sample pack from our friends at Lex's Pantry. Okay, why don't we do our Canadian music spotlight now? So as most of you know, we have one of our brands that is part of the all-Canadian online department store is Vinyl Pursuit. Vinyl Pursuit is a record store. And we're featuring a whole bunch of really cool Canadian artists here. And what we've been trying to do during the Super Hour is spotlighting one major Canadian brand each week and trying to move some albums. So this week, we are going to be featuring Trooper. Yes, Trooper is the Canadian band of the week. I guess we should call it that, create some kind of graphic for it. We had a lot to share about Trooper. We have a few different products available. Maybe I'll run through those first before I start sharing some interesting facts about Trooper. We've got the Flying Colors vinyl from 1979, which I'm featuring here on screen. We also have the original Trooper Thick as Thieves from 1978 available here in the show. Also, we got Trooper 3 dressed up as a 9 in a 7-inch single format. We got Money Talks, the 1982 pressing, the 1980 self-titled album Trooper Trooper. Super Trooper? No, it's Trooper's album Trooper. Oh, Pete. Pete says he owned the original Hot Shots album. Cool. I don't know if we've got that here today. We do have 2 for the show, both at 1976 originals. We got 2 of those available. So lots of Trooper stuff available here. And, let's talk a little bit about Trooper. Yeah, Raise a Little Hell. Good call there, Martin. Big hit. The other big hit you probably know is, well, wait, I don't want to give it all away. Let's slow down here. Let's pull up some interesting facts about Trooper. Learn about an iconic Canadian act. Okay. So Trooper evolved from the Vancouver bar band Applejack, and it adopted the name in 1975 after our old friend Randy Bachman actually signed them and produced their self-titled debut album. So Randy Bachman, you may remember from the Guess Who we spotlighted last week, was actually instrumental in Trooper becoming a thing as well. That Raise a Little Hell album that Martin is bringing up was from 1978, and it's the group's only U.S. Billboard Hot 100 entry. It actually peaked at number 59, and it also remains a stadium anthem all across North America. When they say stadium anthem, they use it to like pump up the fans in different sporting events. Their 1979 greatest hits LP, Hot Shots, as Pete was saying that he purchased. Hot Shots smashed the domestic record book, becoming a 6 times platinum seller and the highest certified album by a Canadian act at that time. So really, Trooper in the late 70s became the biggest Canadian band in the world. Trooper also captured the 1980 Juno Award for Group of the Year, while Hot Shots and Flying Colors were both Album of the Year nominees on that event, the 1980 Juno Awards. Songwriters Raw McGuire and Brian Smith have earned 4 SOCAN Classic Awards for 100,000 plus radio spins of We're Here for a Good Time, not a long time, Santa Maria, Raise a Little Hell, and Oh Pretty Lady. We're Here for a Good Time, Not a Long Time picked up its SOCAN Classic Award in 1999, and it still fuels Canadian summer playlists. It kind of hits that sweet spot of, let's enjoy life while we have it, which is always good advice. In the year 2012, McGuire and Smith received SOCAN's National Achievement Award, honoring their decades-long impact on Canadian music. Universal Music ranks Trooper among Canada's top 5 selling bands of all time, with several million records sold. The band was inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame on May 18th, 2023, quite recently, cementing its legacy in national music history. And the final fact we got for you about Trooper is Trooper's 32-foot strobe-lit logo sign from their arena tours. It now resides in the Canadian Museum of History, preserving their rock show flair for future generations. So that just goes to show you like what happens in these shows can often, really be historic. Okay, so you got a chance to actually purchase Trooper's albums here on the stream. Again, we got a few available from the Thick as Thieves 1978 original, including some rare 7-inch singles and the 1982 pressing of Money Talks, their self-titled album, all available for purchase here on the Buy Canadian Super Hour. Okay, so that's pretty exciting. Nice to see Trooper. Throughout the show today, because we weren't able to feature our guest from Purely Natural, who will be joining us in the future, I'll be taking questions from you guys. If anyone in the audience has something to ask, just throw it in the chat room. We can have a little discussion between us. I'm enjoying this community we're building ahead of the launch of the Buy Canadian Superstore. It's been really gratifying to see Canadians coming together in support of Canadian brands, in support of the Canadian economy, and we have a lot of fun doing it. I like to say we sing with a highly patriotic and welcoming brand voice, welcoming all Canadians into our little community here. Okay, so that's the story with Trooper. I know we've got the Purely Natural folks coming on in a future week. They were supposed to be here this week, so I just wanted to give them a little highlight, a little shout out in case some of you came based on my calling them out as this week's guests. We do have some of their products available here for you to purchase on the show, including their famous Liquid Greens chlorophyll, which you can buy in a big bottle or a small can. I think here's the can. We also have their Fiberific Regular, which is both the regular version of the Fiberific and probably is pretty good for keeping you regular. So that's going to be a lot of fun to host them, and feel free to stock up on your Purely Natural goods here on the Super Hour today. Okay, I think we should play a round of Canadian or Not. So let's do that. We'll leave the Purely Natural product up during this segment here. So if you do decide you want to pick up some chlorophyll and improve your health and support a Canadian business, it's right here. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, the Canadian or Not game is a way for us to have a little fun with the audience, let everybody vote on whether they think a person, place, or thing is Canadian. So recently we've been focused on Canadian inventions, and Canadians are great inventors. They're also great log rollers. So I'm going to get set up here. In the meantime, you can look at this beautiful vintage log rolling footage. I believe that's on the Ottawa River, which is a gorgeous place as well. So we're going to play some Canadian or Not. We're going to do 3 rounds today, starting with the first round. So let me get the proper Canadian or Not graphic up here and check that in. Okay, so we're not asking if log rollers are Canadian or not. They're definitely Canadian. We are, in fact, going to be bringing up the first entry. And let me just get the poll set so you guys can vote. All right, the first entry in today's Canadian or Not game is the Ebola vaccine. Is the Ebola vaccine a Canadian invention? The voting is open now. You can vote right in the player. If you're watching on Facebook and you want to participate in the interactive elements, come on down to buycanadian.tv. You can vote. You can buy products online. You can talk to us in real time. That's the magic of Stage 10, the technology that powers the Buy Canadian Super Hour. So we're asking if the Ebola vaccine is a Canadian invention or not. So far, we have results coming in 2-1 Canadian. So people think that the Ebola vaccine was invented in Canada by a Canadian. We now have a tie. And Not Canadian has now overtaken Canadian. So I'm going to give it a couple more seconds. Feel free to vote more than once. We have this magical ability to button mash. Canadian is now pulled back into the lead at a slight edge, up by 1. Canadians, we're seeing 4 votes. Not Canadian, 3 votes. We'll give it a couple seconds and stopping the voting now. And the answer is yes. The Ebola vaccine is a Canadian discovery or invention. It was developed at Canada's National Microbiology Lab in beautiful Winnipeg, Manitoba, and licensed globally in 2019. A lot of good stuff happens in Winnipeg. Shout out to all our Buy Canadian Super Hour guests and hosts and brands from the Manitoba region. We love those prairies, and I guess the world loves the prairies for having brought the Ebola vaccine to life, saving countless lives. Really cool stuff. Okay, so next one, we are going to ask you if the hovercraft is a Canadian invention. The hovercraft. So some of you may remember last week in the Super Hour, we learned that the hydrofoil is a Canadian invention. Now we're wondering, is the hovercraft a Canadian invention? The voting is open now, so feel free to place your votes as we speak. So far, all the votes are coming in not Canadian. So that's interesting. Like, if we got the hydrofoil, wouldn't it also have been us that did the hovercraft? Or perhaps it was two parallel things. I think the hovercraft got more long-term traction. It's also got a cooler name than a hydrofoil. Hydrofoil actually sounds good, but hovercraft sounds really futuristic. So far, the votes are coming in shutout, not Canadian. We're going to give it a couple seconds and close the voting right now. Right now. Okay, so we did get a vote for Canadian, but all of the other votes came in not Canadian. And that is correct. The hovercraft was not invented in Canada. It was invented by Sir Christopher Cockerell, who demonstrated the first air cushion craft in the United Kingdom in the year 1959. I don't think that's a picture we're looking at here, but so the hovercraft's actually a United Kingdom invention. But hey, we can take credit for the hydrofoil. And all right, let's do another one before we change segments here. And this one's a little bit interesting. It's a surgical invention. It's the NeuroArm surgical robot. The NeuroArm surgical robot. And we want to know if that was invented in Canada or not. I believe this is used in surgeries around the world. Is the NeuroArm surgical robot a Canadian invention? I'm asking you. And so far, the votes are coming in fast and furious. Canadian is what people are saying right now. Is that correct? We will find out in a couple seconds. We have 5 votes Canadian, 1 vote not Canadian. Jeff's asking if it's a mini Canadarm. I guess in a way, except it's not in space. It's in the environs of a operating room. Okay, so let's stop the voting. And people have voted that the NeuroArm is a surgical robot, is a Canadian invention, and people have voted correctly. The NeuroArm surgical robot was invented by Calgary engineers and built the first. Those Calgary engineers built the first MRI compatible surgical robot in the year 2001. It seems so recently, but it was actually long ago. All right. Well, we are 3 for 3 in today's Super Hour. We'll come back and do a few more Canadian or not games in a little while. In the meantime, I thought it might be fun to do a little unboxing. We've been doing that, taking products from the store. I open them, try them out. We're going to do a repeat of one of the really fun shows we had with Phil Kluba from Tallboy Water. We enjoyed Tallboy Water together, and I'm a little bit thirsty. So I thought, hey, maybe I could crack a cold Tallboy carbonated Canadian water here on the show. We could maybe sell some water. It is that time of year where we need to stay hydrated. It's extremely hot in Canada right now, and we need cold drinks to keep things active. So I've managed to put some ice in a cup here just so we can get like a really attractive opening here. I also have my Tallboy can, which was sent to me in the mail via the Buy Canadian group.ca online store, where you can buy all kinds of Canadian goods, from water to makeup, from beautiful cheekbone beauty, all the way to lovely Canadian tea, beautiful Makers Clean products. We have a real big and growing variety of Canadian brands. But, something I like is a good tall glass of water. So let's open this beautiful can up. It's really nicely designed. As you can see, it's a bit shiny. And it kind of feels like a king can of beer. And I think that was the intent. If you didn't want to drink, but you wanted to go and hang out with a bunch of people slamming king cans, you could slam water and have zero hangover. All right, let's open this thing up. Let's crack it proper. They've got nutrition facts and everything. Oh, yeah. Now, let's see if I can do a glamour pour here of the water. Oop, don't spill it on the computer. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that fizz. Look at that sizzle. My friend calls carbonated water spicy water, and I kind of know what he means. All right, now I'm going to take a sweet sip of this. It's just the perfect amount of carbonation. So if you're interested in some water, you can buy it here on the show. That's pretty crazy. You can buy water on a show. Really, that's what the Buy Canadian Super Hour is all about, featuring these really cool, interesting Canadian brands, making them available to you, highlighting them, showing how delightful and wonderful they taste. I've got this beautiful crystal glass. You could also just use the King Can. The King Can is a fantastic thing to drink out of, and I'll get my fingers out of the way there. Look at that beautiful design. Okay, so that's Tall Boy water. I'm going to take it off the screen, but you can buy, if you're thirsty in this show, buy some Tall Boy water. We'll get it to you fast. You can have a big, tall drink of delightful Canadian sourced carbonated water. I believe it's sourced from the Carleton area in the Ottawa region. Okay. We're going to do something a little different today because we don't have a guest. I added a new segment, and that's, a little Canadiana segment. And we were really excited to welcome a new brand into the store this week, and that is Crokinole Canada. So Crokinole is a Canadian board game. I guess I gave it away. We can't use it in the Canadian or Not game. And now we have them available here on this buycanadiangroup.ca online department store and here in the Buy Canadian Super Hour. So Crokinole is kind of interesting, and I thought it might be fun to do a little deep dive on the history of Crokinole, bring up some interesting facts. What I've learned is Crokinole is actually kind of coming back a little bit, and it's a really popular board game. So let's dive into, what is Crokinole, learn a little bit about this really Canadian style game and how it is part of the world. So Crokinole is a 19th century Canadian dexterity game that likely traces its roots to earlier flicking games such as carom and pichenote. Flicking games, I believe, are games that you use your finger and flick something. It's a very popular form of game. The oldest surviving board was made in 1876 by Perth County wagon wheel builder Eckhard Wettlaufer as a 5th birthday gift for his son. That same board that was built in 1878 here in Canada now sits in the Joseph Schneider House Museum in Kitchener, Ontario. So if you want to see the first ever Crokinole board, it is available in a museum here in Canada in beautiful Kitchener, Ontario, which for those of you who don't know is right outside Waterloo, which is about a 90 minutes northwest of the Greater Toronto area. Crokinole, the name, comes from the French word croquignole, or snap, or finger flick, describing the game's signature shot. A similar board was patented in New York in 1880. Sounds like it got ripped off, showing how quickly the pastime crossed the border. Since 1999, the World Crokinole Championship has taken place every first Saturday in June in Tavistock, Ontario. The 2025 edition happened just 5 weeks ago on the 7th of June. And it really helped to turn this rural parlor game into a small but global competitive scene. Okay, let's look at some fun Crokinole facts. So the one I've got featured here on the board before we get into the facts is the board for beginners. But we also have, if you're like a Crokinole master, and I think Crokinole is a very big cottage game. Many of you come back from your cottages with bruised fingernails. That's from like intense Crokinole competition. But we also have a tournament board set available that meets the full tournament standards. If you're a big Crokinole player and you're not messing around, we have that. We also have a traditional Crokinole board game set in a couple of different formats here, including the gold standard. and a special crokinole board set called the Mountie. So we got quite a selection of crokinole board sets in the Buy Canadian Group.ca superstore now. So for all your crokinole shopping, you've come to the right place. And this is probably the only live shoppable show talking about crokinole in the world right now. That is truly amazing. Okay, we got some crokinole facts for you next. Fact number 1. The earliest artifact, Wet Laufer's 1876 board, is also the oldest known crokinole board in the world, and it is considered a piece of Canadian folk art. The name etymology, as we talked about, is derived from crokinole, which once meant the very act of flicking a finger-curled disc. For those of you who don't know how that is spelt en français, it's Croquignole, croquinole. By the way, for those viewers in Quebec, we're proud to say that the Buy Canadian Group.ca site is now fully bilingue. You can check out everything you can in English and French as well. And we're pretty excited about some big Quebec brands that are about to join. I'll tease a little bit about that later in the show. But back to crokinole. Fact number 3. The first patent was from M.B. Ross, who patented a New York board variant on the 20th of April, 1880, just 4 years after the Wet Laufer board. So I don't know if Wet Laufer ever thought it would be wise to patent his game, but certainly someone in New York went ahead and did that with their variant. The Tavistock World Championship, that tournament draws players from 5 continents. So this has truly become a global phenomenon. It includes singles, doubles, youth, and most 20s awards. Fact number 5, the cue stick category. So if you've got a weak fingernail, if you're too bruised to keep playing, you've really laid your flicking finger on the line in an act of crokinole competitiveness, there is a cue stick category. So besides traditional finger flicks, a sanctioned cue shooting division lets players use tiny pool cues to hit the crokinole board. I don't know if we have those tiny cue sticks in the store. Crokinole Canada just added their products. I'll check that out. If we don't, I will ask him to add them, because that sounds like it'd be a lot of fun to play like mini pool on a crokinole board. Fact number 6, Board Game Geek fame. Despite its age, crokinole today ranks number 47 overall and number 5 among family games on Board Game Geek, ahead of thousands of modern designs. So I guess what that tells us is that despite the fact crokinole has been around since the mid-19th century, it still remains one of the most popular family games in the world. And has maintained that ranking. There is an organized crokinole tour. If you train, if you toughen up that flicking finger or get really good with the tiny, tiny cue sticks, the National Crokinole Association runs an annual Ontario-centered tour whose season starts with the World Championship and ends with the Ontario Singles Finals. If anyone watching is interested in becoming a professional or a semi-pro crokinole player, there is an organized tour. Your chance is right now. So Pete's saying that he got bit by a dog playing crokinole when he was a child. Now, my question for Pete is, was the dog playing crokinole, or were you playing crokinole and the dog bit you because you were playing crokinole? That's the real question. So we'll wait for Pete to answer on that. Oh my goodness, Pete had to have stitches from that, and it was the latter. The dog was not playing crokinole. I've seen dogs play pool, so maybe if there's a cue, dogs could actually play crokinole as well. At least I've seen a picture of dogs playing pool. Okay, there's more facts about crokinole. There's so much to talk about with crokinole. It's just amazing. And we have a ton of crokinole boards available. I'm going to bring up the beginner board as well, because that seems like an entry-level product. For those that maybe haven't tried crokinole and want to add it to their country living, their rainy day activity list, we have this beginners board available here on buycanadiangroup.ca. If you're watching on Facebook, you can come by it as part of the show and we'll play the beautiful sound. Just come on down to buycanadian.tv. That's where we do these shows live. And if you miss any of these shows, you can come to buycanadian.tv. We've got shoppable replays. So if you want to see some of the previous interviews with fantastic Canadians like Melissa Maker, Jennifer Cummins, Lex from Lex's Pantry, so many cool brands we've interviewed here, and way more to come. We're just getting started with the Buy Canadian Group and the online department store. We actually got some media coverage this week too, which is pretty cool. I think we're going to put up a press section on the website so you guys can all check it out. Really cool to have you as early customers in our new movement, in our new online department store. But we got more to talk about with crokinole. We got the beginners board up there so you can buy it right here. We talked about the organized tour last. And now, did you know that, here's fact number 8, that there was actually a film treatment of crokinole. In 2006, crokinole, a feature-length documentary was released that follows the contenders preparing for the 2004 World Championship. That's fascinating. I love competition. I think crokinole could become an Olympic sport if we give it enough attention. We're doing our bit here, spending 20 minutes talking about crokinole on the Buy Canadian Super Hour. Man, my flicking finger is itching for a game. Okay. Fact number 9. There is a grand debate in crokinole. They call it the wax and powder debate. So tournament rules forbid players from adding lubricants. Only organizers may dust the shuffleboard wax into the gutters so shooters can coat their discs. I think that's just a way to prevent cheating in highly competitive, high-stakes crokinole. I'm going to pause here and take a big sip of tall boy water. You could join me in one of these delightful tall boy waters in the chat room. Not only can you post chat messages, you can buy items, and I got the tall boy water available there. So I'm just going to have a beautiful sip here. So refreshing. So is crokinole getting tired? Is crokinole getting old? No. Fact number 10, the final fact in our crokinole spotlight. There is a modern comeback happening. I'd say just the fact that Crokinole Canada exists as a store and has joined the Canadian online department store by canadiangroup.ca. Demand for premium boards has surged. There's even a new Elite Series line of boards coming out in 2025, promising custom shop quality at half the price. We've got a real comeback happening here. And I think that there was even an ESPN show. It didn't make it into my facts list, but in my research, I learned there was an ESPN show that did feature crokinole. So who knows, maybe we can get ourselves a TV deal doing crokinole. It could really be a TV deal for the Buy Canadian Super Hour. We could play crokinole, sell boards, mini cues. That's the kind of thing that is possible with our live shopping enabled superstore where we feature Canadian brands. Okay, that's enough about crokinole for now. You can buy the crokinole boards right here on the Super Hour. Just click on screen. We also have a ton of other stuff. There's been some amazing, one of the biggest and coolest brands we have is Melissa Maker's Clean. I know that their cleaning products are some of the best in the world. They are massively popular, just for a cleaning company. Melissa's such a charming personality. They actually have millions of followers on YouTube, and I think we can be proud that they're Canadian. And I'm certainly proud that they joined the all-Canadian department store, where we feature only products from Canadian brands. So you can confidently go shopping and know that your money is staying in the country. One of the most famous products from Melissa Maker and Maker's Clean is the Maker's Mop. We do have that available here on the Superstore as well. So much you can buy, not just what you see in the chat room that I'm featuring on the show. If you go to buycanadiangroup.ca, we've got all the products and more are joining each week. Also, a call out, if you know a Canadian owned brand, send them our way. Send them to buycanadiangroup.ca. They can join our superstore, and we can feature their products, and it's really easy process. So, we're constantly looking to add more Canadian brands ahead of the launch, because the more Canadian brands we have, the better it is for Canadian consumers to discover the best of Canadian products. Okay, I'm going to leave the Maker's Mop available for sale, and we are going to play another round of Is It Canadian or Not? All right, let's bring up the graphic, because you need a graphic when you're playing a game. Here's the Canadian or Not graphic. So far, as a recap, you guys are 3 for 3 today, and let's do the next 3. So we are asking now if the QR code, don't try to hit this QR code. I just pulled it off Wikipedia, so I don't know where it'll take you. But I am showing you the QR code because I'm asking if the QR code is a Canadian invention or not. And the voting is now active. Let us know if you think the QR code is invented in Canada. So far, the votes are all coming in not Canadian. We'll give it a few more seconds, see what you guys think. We do have a vote coming in for Canadian now, but it's still 3-1 votes coming in, not Canadian versus Canadian. So, could it be that the QR code was not invented in Canada? It seems very Canadian, but maybe not. Okay, 2 more seconds, and I'm going to stop the voting now. So you guys said that the QR code is not a Canadian invention, and that's correct. We're now 4 for 4. The QR code was invented by engineer Masahiro Hara. He created the square barcode at Denso Wave in Japan in the beautiful year of 1994. So the QR code is not a Canadian thing. 1994 was a great Canadian year, the year the Expos would have won the World Series had they not canceled the World Series for the first time since, World War II or something. That still hurts me because I'm a big Expo fan. Maybe I'll break out the Expo jersey for one of these shows. But for now, I continue to wear my Maple Leaf jersey in honor of Canada, in honor of Buy Canadian, and that whole practice. Okay, let's do another Canadian or Not. This time, this one might be a little bit harder. I'm wondering if you guys think that the G-suit, so that's the flight suit that helps you with dealing with G-force, whether the G-suit is a Canadian invention or not. So the voting is open now. Let us know if you think the G-suit is Canadian. While you're voting, I'm going to have some tall boy water. So good. So delightful. So fresh. So refreshing. Man, it's good. Oh, yeah. Great. All right. Woo, that's good water. Okay, I'm calm down. We got votes coming in. 5 Canadian, 1 not Canadian. 2 more seconds. We'll call it a vote. 2-1. And you are saying overwhelmingly by a 5-1 margin that the G-suit is a Canadian invention. And oh yeah, you are correct. The G-suit was invented in Canada by Dr. Wilbur Franks. So Dr. Wilbur Franks' liquid-filled suit, so if you didn't know, it's actually filled with liquid, kept the Allied pilots conscious in 1941. So a big part of the, speaking of world wars, big part of the war effort was, this amazing contribution by a proud Canadian, the good Dr. Wilbur Franks. So the anti-G flight suit is a Canadian invention. All right, let's do another one before we change topics here. The next one we are going to do is, I'm just going to reset the votes so we can be ready, because I know you're all going to pour in on this one. Here comes the next one. It is the child-resistant pill cap. The child-resistant pill cap. Interestingly, I learned the child-resistant pill cap has saved numerous lives and hospital visits because it was pretty common that kids would just open up bottles of pills and eat them like candy. So another great invention here. I'm going to start the voting. Do you think that the child-resistant pill cap, push down and turn, which I know a lot of adults also have problems with, is a Canadian invention or not? So far, the votes are coming in 5 Canadian, 1 not Canadian. We are getting a tremendous and overwhelming response to this one. Is the child-resistant pill cap a Canadian invention or not? Let's celebrate Canada. Hopefully this one is, because it's, we're talking about saving lives. Saving lives is sexy. And, we've saved a lot of lives with the G suit. We saved a lot of lives with the Ebola vaccine. Can we claim to have saved a lot of lives with the child-resistant pill cap? We'll give it 2 more seconds. We're seeing the votes coming in 5-2 Canadian right now, 2-1, and I have now stopped the voting and will inform you that again, you are correct. And we are continuing to be batting 1,000 over here. Yes, the child-resistant pill cap is a Canadian invention and was invented by Dr. Henri Brault. He called it the palm and turn design, and it was invented in Ontario by a Franco-Ontarian, I believe, in the year 1967, and it slashed childhood poisonings around the world. That's a really cool one. Really good idea. And I think it does challenge a lot of adults. I know it's not always easy to open those child-resistant caps, but hey, it's worth it to prevent those accidental poisonings that were happening before that. Okay, that's it for the second round of Canadian or not. Oh, interesting. So it looks like Pete also had some experience with this. His sisters had to have their stomachs pumped. I assume that was just ahead of the child-resistant pill cap. Oh, nasty. I guess they also put that cap on cough syrup. I do not recommend feeding cough syrup to each other. I don't even necessarily recommend cough syrup. I'm not exactly sure how useful it is, but definitely do not feed it to children. Do not feed it to each other. Do not try this at home. Okay. So we're doing pretty well here, even without a guest. I think it's fun. If anybody has any questions for me, I'm here and available to answer. If you want to talk about what's next for the Buy Canadian Superstore, buycanadiangroup.ca. If you want to talk about some of our new brands, I am here and taking your questions for the next 15 minutes or so. We will also play one more round of the Canadian or not game. But before we get into that, I want to check on our giveaway. So we mentioned that Lex from Lex's Pantry is offering a Canadian spice sample pack. So let's bring that up on screen here. And then maybe we can draw our winner. So if you haven't already, come on and put your email address into the giveaway, which you can see available for entries in the Stage 10 player on buycanadian.tv. Give us your name and email address, and we're going to do a draw imminently now for the winner of the Canadian flavor sample pack, kindly being contributed by Lex's Pantry. By the way, this includes shipping. We're just going to send you some spice. It's going to be fantastic. For those of you who don't know, I have become a big fan of Lex's shawarma spice. I don't believe that's included in the Canadian flavors pack, but you will get stuff like the Danforth Greek spice blend, the Halifax Donair, a whole bunch of other classic Canadian flavors. If you want to learn more about the specific flavors in the pack, tune in on buycanadian.tv to last week's episode. We talked to Lex. We dug deep into how she developed these spice mixes. We even tried to figure out what spice was in each mix. So we had a little bit of fun with that. Okay, so last chance to add your name to the giveaway from Lex's Pantry. I will give it about 10 seconds, and then I'm going to draw the winner. Entries are being accepted for about 4 more seconds. I'll give you a chance. And now I will draw the winner. first end the giveaway and draw the winner. And the winner is Mr. Pete Nema. All right, Pete, we're going to be sending you a bunch of Canadian Spice. And I want to congratulate you and hope you invite me over for some Halifax Donair, because that's just magical. All right. Way to go, Pete. Thank you, Lex, for being part of the Superstore and providing us with a giveaway. We also have been doing some giveaways with coupon codes. So every Buy Canadian Super Hour, we're going to be giving something away. So let your friends know that you can come and have some fun talking Canadian products with us. We will be back to our usual format of interviewing Canadian brand next week. Unfortunately, our friends at Purely Naturals had an unavoidable event to attend, and we're looking forward to hosting them in a future episode. Okay, let's play it one final round of Canadian or Not, and then call it a show. I'll leave the flavor sample pack up in case anybody wants to buy one. Pete Nema will be receiving a free package. Okay, but we do have three more to go through here on the Canadian or Not game. And I got to congratulate you, because you've really done well this time. I think this is the first time we've been 100% perfect. So I'm curious to know if we can keep that up with the final three entries. Again, we're on a Canadian tech, science and tech invention tip this week. I think maybe next week we'll go back to some Canadian people. We haven't done that in a while, and that's always fun. Okay, so the next one, I'm going to reset the poll. We need a drum roll for this, I think. I don't know if this is the drum roll. Maybe it's the applause. Let's play it anyway. It's the laugh track. Okay, all right. Yeah, all right. Well, stop playing with music, and we'll start playing Canadian or Not. So we have reset the votes. And the next one up for grabs is the Java programming language. Was Java invented by a Canadian? The voting is open now. And so far, people are voting unanimously that Java was not invented by a Canadian. So it's interesting because at Stage 10, we work with a lot of programmers, and Java is a programming language and, has been a real staple of software development for a long time. Right now, we are seeing the votes come in unanimously not Canadian. We're wondering, is Java, the programming language, a Canadian invention or not? We'll give it a couple more seconds. We are still seeing a shutout. 5 votes not Canadian, 0 votes Canadian. I'm going to end the voting right now, and we will reveal the answer to you. And you are wrong. Yes, you are wrong in a good way, because that means that Java is actually a Canadian invention. Java was invented by James Gosling, and he nicknamed it Oak after a tree outside his office. I don't have where James Gosling is from. Maybe I can pull that up next week, or see where it is. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see that Java is actually a Canadian thing. Canada is a leader in software development. I know it because I work with great Canadian developers at Stage 10 and at the Buy Canadian group. So I know it's. I think James. I don't know if James is still around. Why don't we do? There's no reason we can't look up James Gosling right now and get you guys some facts on it, seeing as we've got a few extra minutes and people are curious. So let's see if we can figure out something about James Gosling. So James Gosling, the Canadian computer scientist, he was born on the 19th of May, 1955, and is the founder and lead designer behind the Java programming language. Gosling was elected a member of the National Academy of Engineering in 2004 for the conception and development of the architecture for the Java programming language and for contributions to windowing systems. James was born in Calgary. His folks were Joyce Morrison and Dave Gosling. He's of English, Welsh, and Scottish and Icelandic descent, and he attended William Eberhard High School. While in high school, he actually wrote some of the software to analyze data from the ISIS-2 satellites. And working for the University of Calgary Physics Department, he also received a Bachelor of Science from the University of Calgary and his master's and PhD from Carnegie Mellon University. All those degrees were in computer science. He wrote a version of Emacs called Gosling Emacs or Gosmax while working towards his doctorate. He built a multi-processor version of Unix for a 16-way computer system while at Carnegie Mellon University before joining Sun Microsystems. So Gosling actually joined Sun in 1984, and he worked there for the next 26 years. At Sun, he also invented an early Unix windowing system called News, which became a lesser used alternative to the still used X window system because Sun did not give it an open source license. Interesting. He's known as the father of the Java programming language, and he got the idea for the Java VM while writing a program to port software from a PERQ, P-E-R-Q, by translating PERQ Q code to VAX assembler and emulating the hardware. He's generally credited with having invented Java in 1994. There's more about James Gosling available if you want to check him out on Wikipedia, but I can add that he was awarded an Officer of the Order of Canada as well. So, and he's a fellow of the Computer History Museum. So really, really cool to know that Java is Canadian. And even though we didn't get the voting right, Canada got it right with James Gosling and the invention of Java. Okay, ready for the next Canadian or not? Let's get back on the winning or on the correct track here. We talked earlier about the QR code. Now I want to know, is the barcode a Canadian invention? That's what I'm asking you, and the votes are now active. We are asking, is the barcode a Canadian invention or not? So, this is confusing. I think everyone's got a little cold feet based on, screwing up the Java thing, especially because I know we got a lot of programmers watching this show. But yes, the not Canadian votes are coming in strong now. So far, nobody thinks the barcode is Canadian, and everybody thinks it is not Canadian. So right now, the votes are 5-2, not Canadian. I'm going to let it go for a couple more seconds and then reveal the answer. We're asking if the barcode is a Canadian invention or not in today's Buy Canadian Super Hour. Focus on science and tech. We're curing Ebola. We're saving children from poisoning. We're creating amazing programming languages. We're developing wonderful spice blends. Everything's happening here. All right, let's stop the voting and reveal the answer. So you guys think that the barcode's not Canadian? That's wrong. The barcode. Oh, that's right. I'm wrong. The barcode is Canadian. Wait, I've gotten confused. The barcode is not Canadian, and you guys are right. Okay, just to review, because I kind of got into a rut there. The barcode is not a Canadian invention, and you guys got it right. So the barcode is the first UPC scan. It was on a pack of Wrigley gum in Ohio in 1974. Now, Wrigley does have a big presence in Canada. In fact, where the Stage 10 offices used to be was right next to the Wrigley building, and that's good. So, all right, we got that correct. And now the only one we've gotten wrong is Java, which I find a little disappointing considering the technical chops of some of our viewers. But you're back on track and correct that the barcode was not a Canadian invention. All right, let's do one more. This one's really interesting. Something that's really changed my experience when I go camping or canoeing in some of Canada's beautiful national parks. And I actually think we should do a little feature on Canada's national parks. It's kind of a fun thing to talk about, got beautiful imagery. But we are asking you if the UV water purifier is a Canadian invention or not. So in the past, when you'd go camping in Algonquin or what have you, they had these pump things so you could pull the water right out of the lakes and filter out the giardia or other undesirable little microbes which could make you sick on your trip. More recently, a UV water filter purifier became available, where you don't actually have to filter the water, but you use ultraviolet rays to kill off the unwanted bacteria, purify your water so you can drink straight from the lake with no fear of the beaver fever. So we're asking you, is the UV water purifier a Canadian invention or not? It's pretty close. I'm seeing the votes coming in 3 Canadian, 2 not Canadian. I'm sweating a little over here too. This is the last one of the day. Are we going to get it right? We'll give it a couple more seconds. So far, the votes are coming in 5 Canadian, 2 not Canadian. So more than double the votes coming in Canadian versus not. We'll give it a couple more seconds and we're stopping the voting now. And you are correct. The UV water purifier is a Canadian invention. It was developed by Canadian researchers to purify water in remote areas. Super handy. Really made camping a lot more pleasant because you don't have to literally pump all that water. You just kind of stir your water bottle with a UV purifier. And I think it's very useful for all kinds of applications as well. So amazing work. We only got that one Java one wrong. I'm super excited by all of the great Canadian inventions and by all of the great Canadian brands. So, just to review, the buycanadiangroup.ca is where you can go to easily discover and purchase Canadian brands. You can actually shop from multiple brands in a single shopping cart experience, kind of like you were going to an old school department store like the Bay, buying from many brands, checking out one time. But this time with Buy Canadian Group, it's always Canadian brands. So the money is staying in Canada. So to review, we're live every Wednesday at noon. Next week, we are going to hopefully be bringing the Purely Natural Joel Thune, one of the family founders of Purely Natural, will be coming in and talking to us. Hopefully next week. We'll let you know if that changes. But we're definitely live every Wednesday at high noon Eastern time on buycanadian.tv. We will definitely be continuing to feature the best in Canadian brands. And we're excited to be bringing in some really cool brands from Quebec. I can give you a sneak preview just before we go. I was actually invited and had a really nice experience last week in Montreal at an all Quebec superstore called Signé Local. They actually have brick and mortar locations in the mall. And I think we're going to be welcoming a few amazing Quebec products into the Buy Canadian Superstore from Signé Local coming up very soon. And they got some really cool products from Quebec. Buy Canadian Group's only been around for a few weeks. Signé Local has been around for 10 years. So we're super excited to be partnering with them. And hopefully we can get them on the show and talk a little bit about their experience and just get more Quebec brands front and center in front of all Canadians. Okay, thank you very much. We will see you next week on the Buy Canadian Super Hour every Wednesday on buycanadian.tv. If you missed the previous shows, you can find them there, shoppable replays. Anytime, come on down to buycanadiangroup.ca and purchase some items. So for now, I'm signing off saying go Canada, and we will see you next week on the Buy Canadian Super Hour.